Crate 100.
Welcome back. You're joining the Olympic Network this morning, and I've just realised, Jamie, my floor manager, 2008 we've signed the Olympic Games to. I've just worked out, it's a frightening fact, I'll be nearly 59. What does that make you?
Don't know.
Don't worry about it, eh? It's frightening though, isn't it? But that's how long we've got the Olympic Games for. And of course, one of the great features is the 2000 Olympics coming up here in Sydney, and the excitement is just mounting about that. And the New South Wales government during the week announced the successful tender for the Homebush Bay Olympic Main Stadium. It's not the first venue to go under construction, nor will it be the last. Although the Olympic spotlight in 1996 is focused on Atlanta, it's now only just over 4 years, as I mentioned before, the flame is lit in our own backyard. But the big question, are we on track? For organisers, it's more than just a sporting event, and as Andy Raymond takes a look at an in-depth look at how we're now progressing towards 2000 here at Homebush.
The winner is Sydney, Australia.
Softly spoken and perhaps not perfectly pronounced, yet the words of Juan Antonio Samaranch on September 22, 1993 spelt change. Already one of the most beautiful cities in the world, Sydney was about to receive a facelift. The Homebush Bay area, 14 kilometres west of the city of Sydney, was chosen to be the hub of our Olympics. 760 hectares of waterfront land in the demographic heart of the city. Construction began well before the confirmation. In total, 31 venues will play host to 27 different sports. More than 2/3 of Sydney's Olympic venues already exist. Established buildings such as the State Sports Centre and Hockey Complex will be in use. For the track and field entrance, a warm-up stadium and second-tier stadium have been completed. International events have already been held at the Aquatic Centre, the first major venue to be finished. The complex, as is, houses 4,500 people. But for the Games, a temporary grandstand will be constructed, expanding capacity to over 12,000. The Penrith Lakes Development Complex is only weeks from completion. Wind, water direction and an ecological system were considered during construction. The venue is where the canoeing and rowing will take place.
I think you'll find that things will really start happening this year. Last year we put a lot of time, a lot of effort into planning, into doing the master plan for Homebush, organising, buying the land for the village and so on. And this year you'll see actual construction.
The site at Homebush Bay is continually being expanded. Many major complexes are yet to be built. During the week, the successful tender for the main stadium, host of the opening and closing ceremonies, as well as selected events, was announced.
It's my pleasure to announce that the preferred proponent for Sydney's Olympic Stadium is Australia Stadium 2000.
The stadium will hold a massive 110,000 people for the Games and will be downsized to 80,000 post-Olympics.
It's a big statement. It's the first major venue that we've built since we've taken up our positions here in SoCog. Of course, the swimming centre and the athletics centre were already in place as part of the bid process, and they've already had their recognition worldwide as the standard of facilities that are the best in the world. And I think now the next big one is the stadium, which will really take a presence on the Olympic venues and as far as Olympic Park is concerned.
Construction is yet to begin on the velodrome, auditorium, tennis centre, baseball complex and archery centre. An Olympic boulevard, 60 metres in width, will be the centrepiece of the village. SoCog, the Games Organising Committee, suggests the Homebush Bay area, once complete, will look something like this. All venues and facilities will be completed by 1999, giving athletes and Games organisers a year to test the facilities. The Games will focus on two primary geographic zones, the Sydney Olympic Park and the Sydney Harbour Zone, only 14 kilometres apart and connected by road, rail and water transport services. Of the 27 sports on the program, 23, involving 85% of the athletes, will be conducted within these two zones.
Well, it was part of the bid. One of the big selling points we had was the compactness of the venues and the accessibility of the venues and the proximity to the village where the athletes are housed and its proximity to the city itself.
Other competition venues include Eastern Creek, the site for the equestrian and road cycling events. The shooting competitions will be based at Holsworthy, the Penrith Lakes complex playing host to the canoeing and rowing. The environmental guidelines set for the Games are unprecedented. The guidelines are based on Sydney's concerns regarding major global environmental issues, primarily biodiversity, ozone depletion, global warming and air and water pollution.
Sydney will be the most environmentally friendly summer games ever held.
The Olympics are about excellence, not only athletic and sporting excellence. There's a real good chance for business excellence and environmental business excellence, and we want that to happen.
Ian Kiernan's Clean Up Australia are one of the many groups involved in the planning for the Green Games. The site at Homebush Bay has, in recent weeks, come under intense scrutiny. Claims that toxic waste in the Bay Area is out of control, Kiernan says, is complete rubbish.
I think the Olympic site is magnificent. I truly believe that, and I think that the quality of the infrastructures is also going to be first-rate. But there are certainly some major problems of toxic waste in adjacent Homebush Bay, and we've come out and publicly stated that that's got to be fixed, and we are working now with government and the private sector to see how we can make that happen.
Taken an industrial wasteland, we're rehabilitating it, and we're turning it into world-class sporting facilities.
The problems Sydney currently experiences with traffic congestion have been taken into consideration for the 2 weeks of the Games. SOCOG, with the support of the state government, have devised a plan that will see no private vehicles allowed into the complex itself. A major rail line will be in operation, utilising up to 30 trains per hour, with a major station in the heart of the complex.
It's a great challenge, of course. It's going to be very exciting, moving about 650,000 people a day extra on top of the fact that we have to get people around in the normal course of the day's events, because people still have to get to work and go to the shops and all the things they do.
A ferry system will be in place on the Parramatta River and public buses will be available from all major areas.
I think that is really the great thing we can make a point of here, and that is that everybody is genuinely working together. There's none of these turf wars and people being precious about their own areas. Everyone is genuinely getting in with assisting with SOCOG and also the Olympic Coordinating Authority.
Economically depressed over the past decade, the 2000 Games will be a major boost for the country. From the time of the announcement until 2004, independent forecasts suggest the Games will add $7.3 billion to Australia's gross domestic product. Almost half of the national benefit will go directly to Sydney. Areas outside Sydney but within New South Wales will benefit by approximately $1 billion, and other states and territories by nearly $3 billion. Employment growth will rise substantially. It is estimated that between now and 2000, there will be an extra 1.32 million visitors to Sydney from overseas and an extra 174,000 visitors from within Australia, creating over 150,000 full or part-time jobs. Independent reports say revenue for the Games will exceed $1,873 million. Forecasters suggest the real cost of running the Games is $1,847 million. Although we're not going to turn a huge profit, the surplus is $26 million. Literally minutes after the announcement, Sydney hotels were inundated with phone calls from all points of the compass. The 2 weeks of the Games alone, it is estimated Sydney will have over 250,000 visitors. The Bureau of Tourism in New South Wales estimate the city will have almost 80,000 beds for use. With the anticipated 250,000 visitors during the game, this could present a huge problem. It's a simple case of supply and demand. Room costs have to be contained before prices escalate to the point of stupidity. In respect to the athletes, it will be the first time in Olympic history all of them will live in the same village. The Bay Area will house the 15,000 athletes and officials. There will be 2,000 dwellings, with guests accommodated 2 per room. The village will be built by private enterprise as a commercial residential development and will be renovated for rental and sale after the event. The New South Wales Government is underwriting the costs of building the new venues. For the period of the Games themselves, SOCOG will lease the venue and facilities. Once finished, control returns to the state government. Not only will Sydney benefit with world-class facilities, but when the Games are over, the Bay will be the home of the new Sydney Showgrounds. The residential development will become a core community centre with shops, employment and schools. It was a magical September night when a dream became a reality. With 1,692 days before the opening ceremony, we conclude that Sydney 2000, the vision, is well advanced of schedule. There'll be many elated victors, even more heartbroken losers. The ultimate winners, though, the people of that city called Sydney.
Yes, we're looking forward to that one. And our expectant father, Andy Raymond, the reporter on that Sports World special. Sports World continues after the break. The countdown to the Australian Open men's final at Flinders Park.